Hey everybody out there, my name is Tommy, and this is my channel, Counting on the Big Sleep. Uh, Basically the countdown to retirement and to death. Whichever comes first, I don't know. I really don't know. But we were talking about, you know, I lost my job this year, gone through a couple different jobs, and now I'm working at a meat processing plant. And today is Monday. I made it through a whole last week. And today they fucking beat my ass. They worked me like a dog today. I mean, everyone there, worked like a dog. Well, I don't want to say everyone, but, you know, they did. They worked us like a dog today. Oh, Lord. My back is hurting so bad, my shoulders, my neck, every muscle in my body fucking hurts. So first they put me on the line, this line where where I was talking about. Remember, shredded chicken goes on this conveyor belt and then drops down into these big bins. Then you take these bins and you dump them. So that was my first 3 hours of the day. And I'm telling you, them bins got to be like at least 40, at least 40 to 50 pounds. I don't know. Especially today, I worked with a new guy, and he was filling them up all the way to the fucking top. The top. And making me carry them, to over there, and then, help me on dumping them and stuff. I mean, he did his part. He did the same thing, but every bin that he was in charge of filling up, he filled it fucking right to the fucking top and over. I'm like, and I looked at him too. I said, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, I don't want to be fucking lifting, this is, don't fill it up so much. I was just trying to be nice. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I tried to be nice. And he just looked at me. I don't think he understood English. Honestly, I don't think he did, because he just looked at me, So every time he would do it, because the two bins sit side by side, one's being filled up. Every time it started going over, I'd take that fucking bin. I'd just fucking push all the top stuff off over to the next one, lift that one, but filling them bins right to the top, they gotta be at least 50 pounds, man. At least, And that's what was constant all day long with this guy. You ever work with somebody that you can't communicate with, or I don't know what the hell his problem was. I honestly don't, because a lot of times, he would fill, when he'd start overfilling, he'd look at me and say, yeah, he said, he needs it over there, So I was like, man, motherfucker, man, this thing's way overfilled, and now you got me carrying half across the room and stuff, But yeah, for some reason this guy wanted to work me like a dog today, Especially that guy. I worked for the first 3 hours, and then we went on lunch, which is too quick, man. But went on lunch, then we came back, and I thought, oh man, hopefully after lunch they won't have me doing something too fucking hard. My back is hurting, my shoulders, everything, my whole body is hurting, from this kind of work, But no, they put me on a different line where these guys, they'll cut up packages of these chicken, breasts and thighs and whatever, big packs of chicken, they're like frozen, they have to go, one guy, puts them in water and stuff. I did that later, but yeah, one guy, puts them in water. That was my third job. But after lunch, they got these guys opening the package of chicken, throwing them on this table, and then you're taking a scoop. It's a big scoop like this, but you hold it in one hand. It's a big scoop. You hold it in one hand, you scoop it up, and you toss, whatever you can get in there onto the conveyor belt, and that takes it up the conveyor down to get all chopped up into the person in the bin. And that's what I did for this, the second half, all day long. All after lunch for another 3 hours. Pick these things up, just picking them up, throwing them on it. And these guys are fast. They're opening up packages like left and right. And even I got yelled at there. The boss lady was like, "Hey man, gotta keep up. We need more chicken. It's like, all right." And then they had to stop everything because they were rushing so hard that, I don't know, lady cut one of the packages, and she didn't cut it right, and maybe a little bit of plastic started falling into the chicken. So they had to stop everything and check at everything. They're like, "All right, I want you guys to keep an eye out for plastic." I'm like, "You're telling me I'm going too slow to go faster, and yet you're telling me to keep an eye out for little pieces of plastic too, I'm like, all right. So that's what was my after lunch until, 8:30? 8:30 we got our last break. And I thought, okay, they'll switch us around, man. They're going to make us, maybe they'll give me an easy job to, end the night on an easy job. Please. No. I go in there, they look at me, he points over at the end of this conveyor belt, where there's about 20 carts of big frozen chicken, And now my job is to take every piece of chicken and throw it into this half a tub of water so it gets cleaned, and then they open it up and throw it, and then the guy scoops, Now I'm at the end of this whole operation, And there's like, every time you unload a cart, you have to take the railing out of it and put it up on top, or put it underneath, into the next racking part, so you have enough room to reach. And the cart goes all the way. There's got to be like 50 pieces of chicken, And this is at the end of the night, and I'm like, holy fuck. And then the guy even yells at me again. He's like, "Hey man, you got to keep up, man. You got to keep up." I'm like, dude, I can't. I honestly just looked at him. I said, "Dude, I can't. I'm beat. You guys been beating the fucking shit out of me all day. I can't keep up. I can't." He's like, and walks away. So I just do my best. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to clear the racks as fast as not as fast as I can, because there's only so much energy left at the end of the night, especially at my age, And finally, around about 10 o'clock, he come over. He's like, I'm gonna take you off here and put you in the back, because I couldn't keep up. I couldn't, man. They just wanted too much. They put me in the back, and they put me on an assembly line where the packages of chicken, after it's been sealed. Now I'm at the end of the whole operation, and I'm just checking dates. I check dates, just make sure the dates were on there, and make sure the packages were sealed. That's what I had to do for the last hour. But I couldn't keep up, man. Oh my God, they worked me like a dog. They worked everyone there like a dog. Everybody was working hard, except for, the management. They walk around a lot, and then management will jump in on something, like someone has to go to the bathroom, they'll go and do their job, and then they'll do that real fast for like 5 minutes, but but expect you to do it that fast for like 3 hours. It's like what a bunch of crap. What a bunch of crap. You know. Oh, but yeah, that's a manufacturing job. I'm not. If that's a manufacturing job that Trump wants to bring back to this country, more of these type jobs where you bust your fucking ass all day, and you're not getting paid a lot. It's only $17 an hour. That's why they have all this Hispanic people working there. Because honestly, the amount of work they make these people do, they should be making at least 23, $24 an hour. You know, and that's just my opinion. Because these guys work motherfucking hard, motherfucking hard. I'm telling you. Like I said, they work me to like a dog today. I'm gonna take tomorrow off, I think, and reevaluate. What I want to do for a career for the last 4 or 5 years, because I only got about 5 more years left. That's all I have to work. 5 more years left, and I'll collect Social Security, and whatever money I have saved or put up, I'll use that. I'll work part time. I don't care. I'll work part time until I'm close to 70. Just give me my Social Security at like at least 62 or 63. And if I have anything in a 401k or anything, I just cashed in a 401k, so I have to start one over. But if I have anything, I'll use that. But once I turn 63, I'm not working full time anymore. I'm getting ready to die. That's why this channel is counting on the big sleep. I am counting on the days when it is totally all over. Am I looking forward to it? No, I love life. I do, honestly. Love life at all. If I could be reincarnated, I would definitely come back. But I want to come back knowing what it's like to be rich and ambitious. I'm poor and stupid. But my next life, I want to be rich and ambitious. That's what I want. But yeah, this is my blog, and this is my therapy, I guess. You let me know what you do for a living. I'm just talking shit. Talking about life and in general. Whatever you want to talk about, let me know. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Bye.